one. You want me to go on with this? Or just my talk?
That's where you talk. You can just talk.
Leave it on?
Yeah, just leave it on.
Test. Test. Test.
Just like any other. You want us to come closer?
No, it's kind of really wide.
No, he was
All right, ready?
Good. Yeah. Good.
You're already on.
Yeah, good.
You're already recording, right? Yeah, okay. Welcome back inside the section 925 Pod Center. This is a moment that lots of our fans have been waiting for. It's been about a year and a half in the making. Some would call it the grudge match in hyperlocal history. To my right, your college football insider J Torchio, and to his right, his longtime nemesis, Josh from the 209. Guys, welcome into the Pod Center.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
I saw Michael Jordan fly. I've never seen anyone float. And after last night's Cal victory over Texas, Jay is floating in the Pod Center. Unbelievable win for the Bears. And you heard it here first on Section 925. Jay said the Bears are going to beat Texas, and that's why he's the insider.
Well, they had a good game. It was a good game. It was a fun game. I tell you, Actually, I heard Mike Pulaski talk on the radio. I was inside, and he said on the announcement radio last night, he said, you know, this isn't a SEC game where it's 13-7, you know, Bama beats LSU. I mean, it was high-flying, ball everywhere, great athleticism on the field, great catches, great passes, great playing. So it was really exciting and entertaining.
We know you made this prediction, but going into the game, you did seem more confident about Cal's ability to beat Texas than you were in Cal's ability to beat San Diego State. Why was that?
You know, and I think I've mentioned this to you 2 times at different points. I heard this comment, and it was, you know, Jay, San Diego State is going to be a tougher matchup and a better football team than Texas. And that came from Coach Dykes once in August, so in kind of preseason training camp, and then after the San Diego State game, he said, I truly believe San Diego State's going to be a harder game for us in Texas, and they're going to be a good football team. He's a big believer that San Diego State is a top 20 team. He thinks they're going to go run the table, 12-0, and so it just really made me believe. I also I didn't buy into the whole Texas thing yet. They weren't that great last year, and our offense, as proven out last night, can score on anybody, and so I just felt like, you know, we were going to have to make some tackles, we were going to have some key stops, and we could score, and it just happened that way.
They did get the key stops. They were able to survive the game defensively. And I know that, you know, Sonny Dykes has been on our podcast and has talked about if you have a great offense, you only need an average defense. But at what point does Cal say, hey, why can't we have a great defense to complement our great offense?
I actually truly believe we're getting there. Cal's getting there. I think our back end guys, meaning our safeties and our DBs, and our coverage guys who were arguably not very good a couple years ago, I think they're a lot better. There's a lot more speed. I think the interception last night was a guy by Doc Draven, true freshman out of Texas. Got the interception. That was a tip ball, but he was in the right place. We're starting a sophomore. We've got a pretty good corner in Darius Allensworth, who's really good. And so we're getting better, a little bit more speed. I think one of the problems that people have to remember, you know, I made this comment when we were down. I was at the San Diego State game, and I turned to someone. I actually turned to Mike Williams, the athletic director, and said, Mike, one of the problems we have on our defense is we can't recruit any of the guys that are playing against us. And so what happens is we're not. I don't know why I believe this, but I think it's just harder to find guys that we can get in and are Cal players at Cal. Now you could make the case Stanford gets them, and Michigan gets them, and that's true. But again, those guys are at the higher end of the prestige of college football, so they're going to get their first crack at those guys, and we've got to take the leftovers. At some point, we'll get our crack at those guys, but it's a small pool. When you're thinking about defensive linemen, I mean, we're talking about mean defensive linemen that can rush the pass, which is what we're missing. We're not missing D tackles, and we're missing fast, mean, big defensive linemen and stud linebackers.
To get those guys in here, get the first crack at those guys, what does last night's win do? Is this a signature Sonny Dykes victory, and is this set a course that Cal can then build on? Of course, they have to build on it. One win's not going to do it, but is this a turning point, do you think, in the Sonny Dykes era?
I think it's a signature win for Sonny Dykes, and I think it's a signature win for Cal football, the program. We've now gone into their home and beat them. They've come to our place, ranked 11th, which I think is probably a little bit favorable. But we beat them twice. We recruit a lot in Texas. We have a lot of ties to Texas through our coaching staff, and now we have bragging rights down there. So it's big. If you remove Sonny Dykes, I think it's big for the program. We've proven that we can play with the traditional big boys, and so it's a big time win for us all around. It's fantastic for Sonny. He deserves it, as you and I know. He's a wonderful human being, and he's running a very great program that we are all very proud of.
How does last night's win change the perception of Cal nationally, but also in the Pac-12 for this year?
To be determined, because I'm waiting for Josh from the 209 to ask his question, which I'm not taking as that one. And then the Bianchi's question will be coming up, and we'll have to get that one. But to answer your question, look, we made a statement last night. Whether you believe the rankings or you don't, we beat the 11th best team in the country supposedly that day, and we played with them. Does that mean we're the 11th best? No, but we can play with those guys, and it puts us on the radar. I think some of the players on the Cal team are on the radar nationally, which is big. I think Davis Webb, having the number 1 pick of the draft last year is great. But then you say, okay, can we follow it up? Well, now we've got Davis Webb, who is a true gunslinger, as we all saw last night, and can throw it with the best of them. And so that puts us on the national stage. I think we're going to get into Chad Hansen. If we aren't, we should. But that kid's really good, and please put us on the national stage.
What does it do for the players in terms of their self-belief? I'm sure Coach Dykes has been saying you can play with Texas, you can play with all these guys, but now the players have done it. They've shown they can be a nationally ranked team like Texas. What does that do for their self-belief?
It's huge. What it did was it made these guys believe that we can come back if we keep fighting, if we don't let bad things get in our way. And we stay positive, and we play as a team. We can do it. We can get down. We have the ability to come back, and I think internally within the team, that's got to be a huge confidence builder for him last night.
So you mentioned Chad Hansen, and last night on the broadcast, I know you were at the game, so you didn't hear this, but they were saying over and over again, how does a guy like Chad Hansen slip under the radar, and what did Cal see in Chad Hansen that nobody else saw? We know this guy was at Iowa State, and came over to Cal. What did Cal see that nobody else saw, and what do you see in Chad Hansen?
Well, probably easier to say what I see in him versus how he got to Cal. What I see in him is top 5 fastest guys on the team. 6'2", maybe 6'3", maybe a little bigger. Can leap, can run, and he adjusts unbelievably well to the ball, which is key. Is probably one of the keys to being a receiver. And he runs good routes, so he's got the whole package. From how Cal got him, I don't know exactly how Cal got him, but I think he's from Fillmore, I think, in Southern California. I think the town is Fillmore, I'm not sure, in small town. And I don't know why he wasn't found in high school. You know, there's a lot of reasons. Could have been injured his junior year, didn't market himself, maybe was injured his senior year. But he ends up at Idaho State, and I guess it wasn't a fit. And I think Josh said that you know, I think he sent out his film a little bit, and Cal grabbed him. I will say this, and I think I said this to you on our first podcast, that the receivers that Cal have on their roster today might end up being better receivers than the 5 or 6 we had last year. And it's all driven by Chad Hansen. Again, Sonny told me when he was his first year at Cal, when he was a redshirt, he goes, "This kid's going to be the best one of them all, by far. He's a Sunday player." That's what he told me.
So you mentioned Sonny a lot. This is what Sonny sees, this is what Sonny says before he goes in. I mean, I'm getting the sense that obviously you become a Sonny Dykes fan as a coach. And Cal made the move to give him a new contract. I think I agree with you, the right move. I think you'd agree with that. What is it with Sonny? What is it? What makes it? Let me just say this. After the game, I saw him. Or actually, this morning because I was asleep. But this morning, when I looked on Twitter, he's in the middle of the crowd on the field. He's high-fiving students. He's happy, and as you said, he is a great guy. I mean, it just seems like a super great guy. Why is he the right guy for the Cal program?
Because I think it makes me think. Let me go back. It makes me think that by saying that he's the right guy, that like Jeff Tetman wasn't the right guy. I think Jeff was a right guy for Cal, but I think Jeff kind of got to the point where he burned out because he battled a lot, and he did. Sonny's personality fits Cal. I don't think Sonny is in it for. He's in it for the right reasons. I don't think he's in it to get an NFL head coaching job. I don't think he's in it to make, you know, oodles and oodles of money. He makes a lot of money, and I'm sure he wants to make more, but that's not what he's there for. He's there really because he wants to be a ball coach. And it's a good fit, and I think Sonny has accepted the demands or the requirements to be the Cal coach. Recruit the right players, recruit the academic students that we need at Cal, and work within it. I mean, does he have issues? Sure he does. I mean, I think this week or the last couple of weeks he's made some comments about it's tough playing USC and UCLA every year, whereas it's really just the 4 California schools that play each other. Well, that's another battle as opposed to playing someone else in the conference, or maybe even having another practice game if we didn't play nine league games. So, but I think he's willing to work within the framework. The other thing I'll tell you is what makes Sonny great, in my opinion, it's football. It's not life or death, it's football. And I can tell you that if he didn't have a staff meeting, he'd probably be loving walking around the Lafayette Wine and Arts Festival and enjoying life. And I think that's important. And he's one of us.